Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Trial day set in police overtime battle with government.
The matter was heard in the Home Circuit Civil Division this morning, and arising out of that, a few orders were issued by the court, and a further pre-trial date from March the 10th has been set, and a trial date set for the 4th and 5th of April 2022. It is expected then that all the court's directions will be complied with by all parties, and that we will be all in good stead for a hearing to be conducted on the 4th and the 5th of April 2022.
Can you say what those orders are?
It is that both parties should file whatever disclosure needs to be made, an affidavit in further support of the matter, and whatever case references, and it must be done within particular period so that the matters can be responded to by both parties, and where there are no objections, they should now file a pre-trial consent form for the court's use.
At one point, Mr. James, it had appeared that the Police Federation and the government would have reached a settlement. Any possibility of reaching any further settlement is completely off the table now?
We have extended an olive branch, and we are still amenable to an out-of-court settlement if the government so desires. But one thing we can say for sure: we will not compromise the hard earnings of the men and women of the constabulary force. We are expecting that the government, since they are relying on equity, they must come with clean hands, and they must be prepared to make that compensation. We are prepared to afford a particular amount of time, and we will not be going beyond that remit.
What's that time?
We will not be going outside of a 4-year period for full compensation to be made to the men and women. And we expect that since the matter is before the court, we also have other alternative mechanisms that we believe can bring about a result, and we would want that leverage to be made to counsel so that this issue can be settled amicably.
So we have a 2 years contract. Each time we negotiate, there is a signed heads of agreement. So within that time period, it is expected that the government of Jamaica or the Jamaica Constabulary Force and MNS should do the necessary implementation for the necessary items of claim that would benefit the rank and file members. To date, we have seen a clear delay, and this delay has hampered many things for us. And we would love to see some corrective measures in place, because really and truly the 40-hour work week and overtime payment is not the only item of claim. The government knows that. But we are focusing on the monetary aspect that will help us have a livable standard, as a survivability standard for ourselves and our families. I'm quite confident that good sense will prevail in this matter, even though there were different deliberations done, both from the Jamaica Police Federation legal team and the government legal team. You know, I believe that at the end of the day, we will all benefit as rank and file members, because the government, they owe us. So therefore, some settlement should be reached previously, and to date we are here at this point. But the Police Federation, we will not relent in our efforts. We have a mandate, and it will be fulfilled. So I'm just inviting the government of Jamaica to partner with us and pay the national security apparatus of the land.
We know that what the government has put before the court as a defense is a red herring, and we will not allow ourselves to be daunted by the fact that the government is buying time. We know that we have placed a substantive matter before the court, and the chance and the opportunity of being successful is highly possible, and we are not going to allow ourselves to be distracted at this time.
I know that a lot of police officers are discouraged right now. What would you say to those members?
As usual, we will continue to implore upon our members to understand that we continue to serve the citizens of this country. They are our greatest stakeholders, and we will continue to lend them the support and the safety and security, and continue to be professional. And we will continue to implore upon them to, in the face of the bravery that they continue to exhibit, that they must also take personal safety as being paramount, more so in this Yuletide season, and in everything. Be strong and continue to pray and to invoke God's presence where they must. We cannot do it all by ourselves, and we must continue to do it with God's grace and presence every step of the way.
Hotelers warm up for winter despite global Omicron surge.
Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says Jamaica is set to have a strong winter tourist season with a steady flow of visitors, and the ministry is projecting that 2021 will end with an excellent showing of 1.6 million visitors and more than $2 billion in earnings.
Estina Bailey Smart needs housing assistance.
Live here good time now. See, that what that's there. You can take your mark and plant it. And we come here and plant it. Yes, so you know, it's a long time we live here. Yeah, long time, couple of years well. I used to do me like hustling out there, have a cat. When it come in and all these time here, Christmas, I always have my cat out there, park up with my juice and it, my bun and my cheese and biscuit, and see, I may always make a little money and support. So I getting whole here now. And I can't manage those again. So I sell those things and me do my little picking around that me can find my food and thing, you know, but not like right now. We don't have nothing selling. I'm not planning to sell for the Christmas.
Tell us, why were you sleeping in the Maypen market and at the hospital? Is it because they don't feel safe at your home?
I don't want to stay in there. I'm afraid of them because every minute they are gonna a bus.
I met Miss Bailey about 2 years ago. She came to the office in Maypen for a path-related issue, but because she's a senior citizen, she was referred to my department. Since then, I have been trying to get assistance for her, which has proved extremely difficult. The fact that she doesn't have land, that is the main challenge, because the government doesn't have land per se set aside, you know, to assist. So that's been the major challenge. I could approach Food for the Poor, but without the land space, it's not going to make any sense. I've contacted, you know, the office of the Member of Parliament, the councillor, but to no avail. Initially, I came to do a home visit because that's what we do when we get a case. We do a home visit, our own investigation to find out if the need is actually there. And I came, visited with Miss Bailey, and she has come to the office ever so often, sometimes, you know, to ask for food and whatever, because, you know, even though she gets part payment, it isn't able to suffice throughout the period when she gets another payment. When I came and saw the condition of her house, it broke my heart, because as a senior citizen, it is not safe any at all, and she cannot get a good night's rest because of the way the place is. I tried speaking to her daughter. Persons overseas have even contacted us, but because of not so much red tape, but things have to be done, you know, through the proper channel. So it's been an uphill task all this while trying to get the assistance for her, and I'm hoping that somebody will see that the need is actually here, because she can't stay here because this isn't her space. So even if she's going to get the house, we want it somewhere that is more accessible, because you see the condition of the road, you see how far she is from the main, and she's getting down in age, and she's not as well as she was, because when she was up and about she could manage. And even when she came to the office and we had the idea that she could benefit from one of the programs by the part section, because of her health condition she would not qualify for that grant. And so I'm really hoping that somebody, or somebody's, an entity, anybody will see that there is a genuine need and reach out and assist, as she said she would like a home for Christmas. As you can see, not everybody's need is the same. And for Miss Bailey now, you can see that even though a house is the most immediate need, she is suffering emotionally because she's now frustrated, totally over the situation, tired of living in this condition. So a senior citizen is affected just like anybody else, physically and emotionally. Working with them, it's a challenging task, but then that allows me to become creative and to know that there are limitations within the ministry. Even though a department is dedicated to the senior citizens, I often have to partner or refer the seniors in order for them to be assisted in the best way for.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.